Passion, purpose, truth. These concepts are really at the forefront of our mind from the time we enter our freshman year classes to the times we graduate and get our first real-world job. But these heavy concepts are actually planted into our minds when we're much younger in the form of a question. What do you want to be when you grow up? Think about it. Such an innocent question, right? But this singular question has the ability to transform the way we think, change our behaviors, and shape the way we see our truths. So what is the truth? It's the way we envision our reality. I remember thinking I knew my truth back in 3rd grade. We had a class project with 10 questions listed on a piece of paper, my class photo on the top left. And there it was, the 3rd question down. What do you want to be when you grow up? And without any hesitation, I wrote down neurosurgeon, because I knew the E came before the U, and I thought I had the brains to become a brain surgeon. Fast forward 10 years, and you'll find me enrolled in a BS MD program at Temple University. Essentially, complete my Bachelor's of Science in 3 to 4 years, and if I meet the GPA and MCAT requirements, I would go on to Temple Medical School. My journey was set in stone. I was going to become a doctor. But what happens when your journey becomes altered and the truth makes you question your reality? You see, I missed the GPA cutoff by 0.02. 0.02 was all it took to change my journey, change my life perspective and philosophy, and also change the life lessons that I was going to learn about myself. For the first time in my life, really, I felt lost. I didn't know what my future held. But reality slowly kicked in, and I realized that if I wanted to become a doctor, I was going to have to apply to external medical schools. And so I did. 3 application cycles, 2 rejections, 1 wait list. And that was the best thing that has ever happened to me, because that led me down a world of self-improvement. It essentially forced me to take 2 years off, a 2-year gap year. And during those 2 years, I had vast, diverse experiences. First, I started out as a medical scribe for a PEDS ED. After that, I became a virology lab technician for a pharmaceutical outsourcing company. Next, I did cancer rehab research working with breast cancer survivors. And throughout those 2 years, I was a Lyft driver, meeting some really cool people, having awesome conversation. And best of all for me, I got to backpack part of Europe, build my life resume, because I got to run with the bulls. And as cliche as it might sound, those experiences in those 2 years, outside of schooling, taught me a lot about life. But oftentimes during those 2 years, I questioned whether I truly wanted to become a doctor. Was it fate or destiny, or should I look away, look for something new? That's when I really started getting into reading self-growth books. The ones that make you question everything in your life in the present moment, but by doing so, help you build a better version of yourself. And by reading those books, I realized that I didn't just care to become a doctor. No, I wanted something more. I wanted to influence people in the right way, create value in their lives, optimize their mindset and lifestyle. And then I realized that in order for me to do that, the best thing for me was probably to become a doctor. And after so many lows and so many doubts, I was going to finally fulfill my truth of becoming a physician. I was accepted in medical school. And I'll never forget Dr. Paul Mary, my microbiology professor in Block 1 of medical school, because he probably gave the best advice I ever heard. He walks into class and he looks up at everyone and he says, "A doctor is not who you are. A doctor is what you do." You see, he didn't want us to get wrapped up in the title of a doctor, in the identity of being a doctor. No, he wanted us to get wrapped up in what it meant to be a doctor. During those 2 years, as I wrote essay after essay, writing about why I'm choosing this field, I realized I really wasn't telling the truth. I don't think many of us are. In your early 20s, it's very difficult to know what you want to do for the rest of your life. And quite frankly, I only realized why I chose this field about 3 months ago while I was in the job. See, ever since I was younger, I loved helping people that I didn't even know. For instance, we would have parent-teacher conferences, and I would be the first to raise my hand, volunteer to be a tour guide. Or if I ever saw somebody in the street lost, I would quickly approach them and say, hey, do you know where you're going? Do you need any help? Because for me, it was about creating a social connection, a meaningful connection with someone that I didn't even know. I now had a new mission in life, a different truth. And there's 2 books that I want to share that really helped me understand passion and purpose at a deeper level. And so the first book is Grit by Angela Duckworth, where Duckworth states that in order for us to be successful in life with passion and purpose, we must be willing to delve into many different interests and career paths. For example, let's take LeBron James and Michael Phelps, probably 2 of the greatest in their sports. But they weren't just one sport athletes growing up. Now, LeBron James was also an all-star high school football player. Michael Phelps also played lacrosse and baseball and soccer. Now, by playing all these different sports, they were able to gain different skills in each one. And as they chose their respective sport, they were able to incorporate those skills, which helped them elevate to greatness. Likewise for us, it's very important that we try out different things, different interests, different career paths, even if they're dead ends, because that's where the treasures lie. That's where the skills are that we'll gain and eventually help us as we move on. The second book, it's called So Good They Can't Ignore You by Cal Newport, where Newport states that following your passion is probably the worst advice you can ever have. Instead, you need to cultivate skills, what he calls career capital. You see, your passion and purpose are not things that you're born with. They're somewhere out in the ether, and they pop out when you least expect it, as long as you focus on creating value daily. As I look back at my young, short journey, I realized not everything panned out the way I thought it would. Sure, I became a doctor, not a brain surgeon, but I no longer solely identify myself as one. I look forward to the future, not being scared that it may be unknown. I seek a different truth. So I want to leave you all with this last message. As you step forward into your careers, don't focus on what you will become. Focus instead on creating value every single day. Because the future is unknown. And the truth, our truths, are ever evolving. And to quote Voltaire, cherish those who seek the truth, but beware of those who find it. Thank you.